Okay. Yesterday in the biomedical instrumentation in Unit 3, we studied about the blood pressure measurement using the sphygmomanometer. The sphygmomanometer is nothing but the equipment used to measure the blood pressure. What we discussed yesterday is nothing but a manometer is placed to which a cuff is attached. So what is done in the cuff? As I told yesterday, the cuff is inflated. Inflator and deflator we discussed. Inflator in the sense the pressure is being increased. After a certain level, the blood flow completely stops. Okay. What is systolic pressure and diastolic pressure as we read from yesterday? Systolic pressure is nothing but as the cuff is completely inflated, when the blood is completely stopped to flow, after that the cuff is deflated. Deflated in the sense the pressure is gradually decreased. The pressure when the blood just starts to flow, that is said to be the systolic pressure. So that value of pressure is being noted here in the manometer. And how does the physician know whether the blood just starts to flow? What is the instant when the blood just starts to flow? He is hearing it in the stethoscope. So when the blood just starts to flow, he is able to hear some sounds called as a Korotkov sounds. So the onset of the Korotkov sounds will give you the systolic pressure. So when the blood pressure measurement is taken to you, what is the actual process going on? The cuff is being inflated totally, and when the pressure, and afterwards the cuff is deflated, means the pressure is gradually reduced. At one point the blood starts to flow, that is said to be the systolic pressure. So the systolic pressure, even though the blood flows, what happens is the blood flows with some hindrance. So when the blood flows with some hindrance, the Korotkov sounds are being heard. And the cuff is deflated further. After it is deflated, after a certain pressure, what happens is the blood starts to flow without any hindrance. So the Korotkov sounds are being not heard. That point of pressure is said to be the diastolic pressure. So this is what is the indirect BP measurement procedure what we discussed yesterday. So similar to the indirect measurement of BP, we are going to see today the next extension nothing but the ultrasonic blood flow meter. So just like the indirect method of blood pressure measurement, this is also an indirect method of blood pressure measurement, but here an ultrasonic crystal is being placed in between the cuff and the patient's arm. So here we are going to use the Doppler shift of frequency. So instead of hearing through the stethoscope, we are going to hear the Doppler shift in frequencies. You know what is the Doppler shift in frequency? When a source and observer, any one of them are moving with respect to one another, what happens is when an audio signal or ultrasound signal is being transmitted, there is a shift in frequency. There is a shift in frequency from the source to the observer. This shift in frequency is said to be the Doppler effect. So what we are going to replace coming out of the indirect method of blood pressure measurement compared to the yesterday's topic, that is by using sphygmomanometer. This is also a typical sphygmomanometer, but instead of the conventional stethoscope that is being used, here we are going to use a ultrasonic probe. So what happens in the ultrasonic probe? At the systolic pressure and the diastolic pressure also, two different Doppler shifts occur. So when the first Doppler shift is occurring, it is said to be the systolic pressure. Similarly, when the second Doppler shift of frequency is occurring, it is said to be a diastolic pressure. So as we started and discussed in yesterday's class, we can also today see what are the major components of this circuitry. We can see here there is a human arm. Over the blood vessel, the cuff is being wrapped. This is the cuff which increases the pressure and decreases the pressure, which is being inflated or deflated. So to control the blood flow, and in between the human arm and the cuff there is a piezoelectric crystal that is being placed. So ultrasound transmitter and receiver and all are there. So to transmit the ultrasound frequency and to receive the ultrasound frequency, you have all those things. The ultrasonic blood pressure measurement system consists of an inflated rubber bladder called the cuff. So here also you have a cuff like the indirect method of blood pressure measurement by the sphygmomanometer as we saw yesterday. A piezoelectric crystal, this is what is new in today's system for the transmission and reception of the ultrasonic waves. A piezoelectric crystal is used to transmit and receive the ultrasonic wave, and after that a pump and valve assembly. What is the use of the pump and valve assembly? A valve is used to keep the value freezed at a particular pressure. Suppose this is a systolic pressure, now that pressure is being freezed. To note it down later, that is to be the valve. Just like you have valve for the water pipes in the homes, this is the valve used here in the blood pressure measurement. A pump and valve assembly to inflate and deflate the cuff. Okay. A pump is also there. Pump is to inflate and deflate the cuff. Okay. If you want to inflate, you want to increase the pressure. If you want to deflate, you need to decrease the pressure. A valve is used to lock the pressure. That is what we know already. And an electronic control system to coordinate all the events. So, a piezoelectric crystal is placed between the patient's arm and the cuff. Where is the piezoelectric crystal placed? It is placed in between the patient's arm and cuff. Generally, a 2 or 8 megahertz ultrasound is being used. And we have another diagram which will help you understand the entire arrangement. So this is the another diagram showing the entire arrangement. What are all there? Let us see. There is a RF and audio amplifier to and from. Okay. So the piezoelectric crystal transmits the ultrasound waves, and what is being done is, where is the cuff? This is the cuff here. Cuff is being attached here, and there are pump and valve assemblies. So different pumps, only one pump, and different valves for noting the different pressures. So external to the circuit, external to the setup, instrumentation setup, what we saw just now, just before, we are having the external system like this, the pump and valve assemblies like this, where we have the cuff, and we have the pump for inflating and deflating the cuff, and you have the valves to lock down the pressures, and you have the electronic control system to coordinate all the events. First the cuff should be inflated, and afterwards it should be deflated with the preset interval of time. All are coordinated by the electronic control system. Blood pressure is measured. So this is the principle of operation. That is complementing to the yesterday's discussion. In yesterday's discussion, we have only the sphygmomanometer, where we have only the stethoscope to hear the sound and to understand the start of Korotkov sound and end of Korotkov sound. So that is replaced today by the Doppler shift in frequency. Okay. The blood pressure is measured by measuring the Doppler shift caused in the incident ultrasound wave by moving wall of the branchial artery. So when the Korotkov sound start to hear, or when the blood starts to flow, what happens is the artery starts to contract and expand. So that sound is being picked up, not that sound. The Doppler shift in frequency due to that arterial movement, that is being picked up, corresponding to the systolic pressure or diastolic pressure. Initially the cuff pressure is increased, otherwise the entire operation is same as before. In yesterday's topic, indirect measurement by sphygmomanometer. Initially what we do, we increase the cuff pressure to a value above the systolic pressure. Above the systolic pressure we increase. So okay, 80 and 120. So above 120 we will increase. One pressure is called as systolic and the other one is called as the diastolic. More than the higher range we increase. More than 120 mmHg, the millimeters per mercury, we increase the pressure. Then the cuff is deflated slowly at a fixed rate. This and all is not different, just same as yesterday. The cuff pressure is being increased, and after that what is being done? The cuff is being gradually released to identify the point where the blood starts to flow. Yesterday, by hearing the sound, the start of blood flow can be a Doppler shift in frequencies. Okay, that is what is going to come now. When the cuff pressure drops to the systolic pressure, drops just below the systolic pressure, high frequency Doppler shifts corresponding to the opening event of a heartbeat are detected. So corresponding to the opening event of the heart means it is nothing but the blood is starting to flow. So there is a Doppler shift in frequency. So the first Doppler shift in frequency is locked to a value called as the systolic pressure. So I have something for you to note. What is the Doppler effect? The Doppler effect or Doppler shift is said to be the change in frequency of a wave in relation to an observer or a source which is moving with respect to each other. So both the source and the observer, both are stationary in the sense there is no Doppler shift. When any one of them or both of them are moving, and when there is a wave transmitted from the source to the observer, there will be a Doppler shift in frequency. These are not very preliminary concepts, physics concepts we already know. And just re-showing the diagram for you to have a connection. So this is what we have been discussing about. The arm is there and the cuff is there, and in between the arm and cuff an ultrasound crystal. There is a piezoelectric crystal the cuff is being deflated. At a particular point, a systolic pressure is being noted. That is what is given here. At this point, the reading on the manometer is the systolic pressure value. The valve V2 is closed. Okay, the valve V2 corresponds to the systolic pressure. To fix the manometer to this value. When the cuff pressure drops further, so what is next? Systolic pressure we have noted. The region, the point where the blood just starts to flow. And after that what we need to know? What we need to do? As we saw yesterday, the cuff pressure should be further reduced. The cuff pressure should be further reduced to see the point where the blood is flowing without any hindrance. The blood is flowing freely. That is said to be the diastolic pressure. As per yesterday's discussion, the cardiac sounds will be switched off because the cardiac sounds will be not here because the blood starts to flow freely without any hindrance. As per today's concept, it is the second Doppler shift of frequency. When the cuff pressure drops further, the opening and closing events of the heartbeat start to separate. So now what we want to see is opening and closing event of the heart starts to separate. That is a point where the blood starts to flow freely. And high frequency and low frequency Doppler shifts are detected alternatively, and that is said to be the diastolic pressure. When the opening and closing events of the heart start to separate, and that is a point where the blood starts to flow freely, and that is noted as a diastolic pressure by another valve, and that is what is known. V2 is the valve for noting the systolic pressure, and V3 is the valve used to note the diastolic pressure. Okay, this is V2 is the systolic, and this V3 is the diastolic pressure.